Welcome, Mr. Buddy, Mr. Research. So, doing more of these live debates. If you want to come up, if you want to hold a conversation, you want to push back on things that I said. The only rule I have is don't ramble. Don't ramble. Get to your point. Don't have a long paragraph where you're trying to figure out what you're trying to say. That's the only requirement I have for live debates. And don't interrupt each other. I do not like to interrupt each other. We're trying to learn from each other. So, once again, the two rules: don't go on a long ramble. All right. Keep it under a minute and a half. You should be able to get to your point in a minute and a half. All right. You should be able to get to your rebuttal. Write your speech down before you start speaking. I don't like the rambling. When you visit America, you have to understand this. And I have a house on the East Coast. I have a house on the West Coast. East Coast behavior is different. Okay. It's different. The fathers and uncles, they allow their sons and nephews to do different stuff. All right. I'm not going to say is negative. I'm not going to say it's positive. It's just different. So yeah, I'm going to other myself because on the West Coast, we got a lot of rules. We got a lot of rules. And one of our number one rules, you don't really mob on each other. You don't mob on innocent people. You don't really, hey, what's going on, chaos? You don't really, you have to really give people a fair one. And when somebody don't want to fight you, hey, bruh, let that go, bruh. Let that go. Now, LA is a little different because LA is a international location. A lot of people fly into the international hub. Chicago is an international place. Miami is an international place. New York City is an international place. These are a little bit different because these behaviors are influenced by people who just arrived. Okay? People who just flew in for a couple of years and then they're leaving. All right. So these things are very, 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 very different. New World Order. What's up, my guy? Hey, I'm dropping the link early because I want to hear other people's thoughts. Now, once again, the rules for live debates is do not ramble. Get to your point. You got 90 seconds, a minute and a half. Get to your point. If you're not good at speaking, write your points down so we can get everything flowing. Whoa, Misfit Nation is up in here. What's going on, man? He probably will like this. I think Misfit Nation is a East Coast guy. East Coast. How I'm doing a video how to visit FBA America because the East Coast has a totally different thing. We have a lot of rules here on the West Coast that you cannot. Oh, man, tomorrow. Oh, my God. Oh, man, this is a blessing, man. I got the great one on here, man. Let me tell you guys the rules. Okay, so I'm going to be doing more of it. Let me tell you guys the rules. The rules is get to your point. Don't ramble. Everybody needs to be heard and don't interrupt each other. So I'm going to be going back on Jubilee. I've been on Jubilee before. I'm going to go back on Fox Soul, on Isaiah's thing. I'm going to put myself out there more for these high-level conversations because what's happening is, and Man of Tomorrow can identify with this, the worst speakers are talking a lot and they're making, Black intellectualism look bad, Man of Tomorrow, what do you think?
Yeah, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me on. A lot of people just don't know the issues. Like they're it, it's kind of like how they kept black people off of like and 90s because when you let black people on, they
Say it
wanted
again. Say it
to
again. You broke up. Say
soliloquy
it
about.
again. You say it again. You broke up. You broke up. Say it again.
I said that. I'm sorry, I'm in Kansas. I'm going up and down these hills, so you lose, um, signal once you go up and down these hills. But it's just that people are just not confident with the topic that's being discussed. So what they do is they enter these conversations and then they drag the conversation to another point to where they're comfortable with actually discussing and speaking. And there's no real panel moderation to break that up. And there's no real setting of the table before the debate actually starts. And that's how come it devolves into this nearly every single time when black people are discussing any topic.
Absolutely. That is very well said. To everybody who's wondering about the screen, I have to do it in sections because of YouTube rules. But this is when 20 boys jumped on a girl in New York just to get her phone and her book bag. Cali, we don't allow that. We just don't. You'll never see that in the West Coast. You will never see that in Texas.
No, there ain't no Southern thing either, man. No.
Yeah. You'll never see that in Tennessee. Yeah, that don't fly. That don't fly. I mean, regardless of whether that's my daughter or not, people will have to get their doors knocked on. Like, hey, man, I saw your son, I saw your nephew. We got to do something about that. We don't rock like that. So when people visit America, one of the reasons I'm making this video, and I'm going to be responding to a lot of people's videos, is because we don't want what I call pop-off culture to be the only definition. Now, East Coast is not bad. Let me make that clear. East Coast is not bad. But if you come to America and you only interact with East Coast people who sometimes can have a higher percentage, let's call it 60%, of confrontational pop-off culture, you would think we all like that. And we not. My violence is at 25%. I can do it, right, Man of Tomorrow, but
yeah,
it ain't, Man of Tomorrow's military. He can give you that ex-military experience, but we're a little bit more smoother. We're West Coast, we're really cowboy culture. We're a lot like Texas. We only pop off if you put us in a position where we got to pop off. Man of Tomorrow, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's just that a lot of people don't understand decorum, and they use pop-off culture as a means of having a discussion. You can have a discussion without pop-off culture, but a lot of people don't know how to interact with men, period, and they don't know how to equip themselves as a man because they're not confident in where they are as a person. So everything becomes pop-off culture. Everything becomes a standoff when simple points need to be just covered, and there's no real need for that. But to them, they've never been around actual competent men see and discuss things and equitably disagree and walk away. They've never seen that, and that's not something that I control. That's not something that you can control. Only thing you can do is just set the table or reset the table if you see something going bad. That's all you can do.
Yeah, I said to some people, and I'm debating Misfit Nation in the chat. I said to some people, the unfortunate thing is some people, the way they talk, the things they say, I can understand that they're not well read on what they're saying. They just want to be part of the conversation. I know you get that, Man of Tomorrow. Some people are not really well versed on what they're talking about. They just want to be heard. And that's cool too. But one thing that a lot of these Jubilee conversations have gotten me to realize, a lot of people just want to, they just want to grandstand. They are willing to poison the water as long as they get a little bit of center of attention. So as it relates to this video that I put up, the Black community has to expose rules. We don't have rules for the 1990 born people and the 1999 born people. They're just doing what they do. And then when it backfires, it's the I'm black thing. No, no, buddy. Your behavior. Your behavior has to be a little bit more player. Your behavior has to be a little bit more smooth. And it's too many insecure people just blurting out stuff. Where did I get it wrong, man, tomorrow?
No, you're exactly right. And that's what happens when you're insecure and your point you have to overcompensate from the very beginning. From the very beginning, you have to overcompensate to seem normal or at level with people. And it just doesn't take all that. But to them, they only see that within their personal life that the person who's overbearing and wrong get the most say. And that doesn't work in actual society. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, well, let's while I got you, man, let me tap into your brain on a couple of things. What are your thoughts on, and this was many years ago, these boys did this, but what are your thoughts on 15, 20 boys jumping on a girl, physically kicking her, and just to get her iPhone and her bag and run away laughing? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's just a cowardly act. I'm not sure how you can even punish it for real. Like, how do you go and teach somebody that that's wrong? What goes wrong in somebody's head to where they see a person who's vulnerable and on the ground, such an overwhelming swarm of individuals, like they're hungry as hyenas that's never ate anything before, over a book bag and a cell phone? There is so much wrong with something is wrong with the mind state of these people that think that they could just engage in that action. And where do you go from there? Like, I just find it hard to relate to. I just find it very hard to relate to.
Now, one thing that has come up several times is the politics. Uh, I'm more interested in the black men setting rules than the politics, but there is some political aspect you can put to this. If this was the 80s and you had very stringent Ronald Reagan, I hate monkeys type of laws, then yes, there would be less of this. Ronald Reagan was famous for him and Nixon being caught on a live audio calling black people monkeys. So if you had those type of laws, or Ronald Reagan sending the state troopers down to UC Berkeley because he didn't like the words that were coming out of Huey Newton's mouth. If it's that, yeah, if that's the type of Republican thing that you want, and I'm a longtime conservative. I believe Man of Tomorrow is also, but I am not a Republican or a Reaganite. I am not a Democrat or a liberal. I believe in true conservatism for the French guy who created conservatism. I am not into the house of um, American conservatism. I don't see that as beneficial because it's turned into a Dixiecrat type of conservatism. But with that said, I think that, uh, and I'm coming up to my 90 seconds. I think that to make it political takes it down a different rabbit hole. Black America needs to police Black America. Don't you think it's that time, Man of Tomorrow?
I mean, it's been that time, but you have to have a group of people who believe the same type of value system in order to police anything. Like, that's what the police is for, is to police the value system that's there. Everybody comes to the table with their own value system, but they want to benefit from the collective of things that they've never contributed to. So, I mean, something like this is just, That's why I have a very hard time with unprincipled people. Well, because there is a bare minimum level that you're supposed to be operating at in society. And for me to actually have to stoop down to have basic conversations about right and wrong, basic conversations about how to act, basic conversation about how to move. And I can't really push the yellow culture because the yellow culture is black when it's and they want to get them be able to police myself. We don't have a unit to which we can hold each other to
Kansas,
because everybody's
Kansas
gonna
got
believe
you again.
in the same thing.
Kansas got you again. That Wi-Fi in Kansas got you. Look, I got part of what you said. You know, it's been the time. I forgot to also say one of the young boys stole her shoes. You know, I guess it was important for him. And again, this happened. This happened at least 4 or 5 years ago. But the point in that it is a lot of the East Coast black men have to start policing this stuff at a high percentage. It can't be 30% no more. And the same thing for us on the West Coast, but it's mostly LA. We gotta police a lot of the black culture. Now, up here in the North where I'm at, to be honest, it's not a lot of black folks who commit crime up here. It's mostly Arabs, Yemen. Because when you see people who get arrested, I'm going to start doing something where I got to post the people who got arrested. When you see the people who get arrested, a lot of the folks who get arrested here in Northern California are not black folks. They're just not. And if they are black folks, it's Somalians, it's the Islamic black dudes. It's not. So a lot of our crime that you see happen here, when people get arrested, you find out that this person was originally not from this country 5 years ago or 8 years ago. Now, I'm not taking a dig. I'm just saying people love to say, well, this is looking like this because of liberal. Yeah, half of that is true. Maybe even 75% of that is true, right? I'll go down the rabbit hole. 75% of that may be true. But the greater problem is the optics. The optics are always trying to be turned against melanated men. Well, melanated men must be doing this. No, and then you find out it's a bunch of white guys. Well, they sit up here punching Asian women and taking their money. Okay, let's investigate. That's a white guy. That's a white guy. That's a dark-skinned Asian guy that you guys trying to say is black in San Francisco who was with his Asian girlfriend and punched this Asian man. All three of them are Asian. But because one guy has that Cambodian dark skin, you labeled him as black. See, it's all that type of stuff. So when you visit America, remember, California can fit 360 New Yorks inside of the state of California. That's how big just this one state is. So imagine 360 Brownsville, which is where I used to stay in New York. 360 Mount Vernons. 360 Yonkers. You know what I'm saying? And this is the issue. This is the issue of the difference between the Great Lakes blacks. You don't really hear much about the Detroits and the Michigans,
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. You don't hear much about it. It's like one every 8 months. You know what I'm saying? Or two every 2 years. Now I'm quite sure they doing what they do, right? But the high level of it, it's just not there. So this is why I call it pop-off culture. And I have been working on a map, man, of tomorrow. Maybe you can help me monetize it. But I've been working on a map that breaks down the behavior of America. Because as it relates to black people,
It's gonna be a controversial thing, man. Because I remember the last one that you did about. Man, I shared that with Nagone, and we was laughing for like 30 minutes as we listened to it together on
What
the
what what
phone.
what what was that?
It was about you explaining the difference between different class of blacks and how the dudes who are controlled by women, those type of guys.
I mean, am I lying though?
It's so poignant, but you put it all in one thing to where you can listen to it all together at night. You wasn't lying, but it was death defying to just hear all at once.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that my job in Manosphere, because people forget that me, O'Shea, Angry Man, and Minister Jap started all this stuff, right? It was just the four of us in the beginning, and more so Angry Man than everybody else. Because Jap always had his, I had mine, O'Shea had his. But I tell people all the time, man. I said my job is to hold a mirror to black men, not to shame language, because I know Nagone doesn't like some of the things I say, but we gotta have the conversation about us. These women are like fourth. Our sons and nephews should be more important discussion than these women dating and sex. You know, I just I just see us as it's about time we get in a room without all the perform like you in trucking. It's about time all the truckers get together. Fuck the bullshit. The truckers, 400 truckers should be meeting every Sunday to discuss how they're going to take over half of Michigan. All the routes. 500 truckers should be meeting on Zoom every Sunday to talk about how they're going to take over the routes in Texas. And that's my goal. My goal is to say, yeah, the white people, true. Republican, Democrat, true. Um, Women, true. All that's true. Now let's talk about our sons, nephews, and how we can get power for our sons and nephews. I don't know. Is that a bad message?
No, I mean, but most people want to be entertainers. They're not here to solve problems, and they
Mm.
look at solving problems as damaging to their quote unquote business model, because everybody is a brand manager now. So now everybody's here to live off blackmail problems and not fix blackmail problems. That's why the manosphere kind of devolved into what it devolved into trying to check women online, which I think is giving them more power than they actually deserve. But there's a lot of dudes with no experience either. So it's again, it's a class. We have to build a class. That's what I'm doing in my personal life, building a different class of personnel and not trying to take everybody along for the ride. Putting people into a pipeline of success that's guaranteed that they can see women are provided for them, XYZ. They ain't got to worry about nothing. Everything is, and that's the protection you have to give people in order for them to be able to behave properly. Because that's what happens in other functional societies. Productive people don't go without. They're now out here hunting. They're not doing that.
Yeah, I think that to your point, um, we don't create the type of black son and black nephew that we once created. You and I can survive, maybe even more so you because you have military training. But you put me out in the middle of nowhere. I understand how to take off the bark of a tree and pack in insulation. I understand what the moss is used for. Um, I understand. Uh, I got to quickly make some type of shelter the minute I drop because the sun will be dropping in a minute. I understand all of that. A lot of these dudes have no clarity on none of that. Yet they're constantly saying stuff. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, but that's why I say, I mean, as unfortunate as it was, the food preparation thing I got from the Mississippi Delta, the more survival aspect I got from the military. So putting those two things together is good. But I had to go through a whole bunch of stuff to actually get that, and I can't really pass it down because people don't really respect that aspect of survivability or masculinity. So that's kind of hard. Like that's why I say like we end up with the boys that we have to fix into other men. Other communities don't have to do that. Everybody you run into, you have to fix them up into a person you can be around because they just don't have it whenever you meet them.
Yeah, that is very true. Sticking with the black element of this, a lot of times, and when I hear, a lot of the anti-black people make these statements, which are valid, they never include, and this is what I said to one guy that I was debating on his podcast. I said, you never include the farmer blacks. You never include the blacks in Utah and Colorado that just stay in their house all day, because out there it's a stay in your house culture. You never really include the Oregon blacks. You only focus on Portland. You know what I'm saying? So
Omaha blacks.
Right.
Yeah.
The darn Alaskan blacks. I said, and this is one of the things that inspired my map. I told him, you're talking about pop-off culture.
Yes.
You're talking about the Chicagos. But you don't even know there's a Gary, Indiana, who pops off even more than Chicago. You don't even know that.
That's far worse.
Right. You're talking about the New Yorks, the Baltimores, the trifecta of pop-off. But you don't know about Virginia. You don't, I mean, DC barely has anything, but you see what I'm saying? So when these people talk, and I'm going to the Nick Fuentes thing, it's always Chicago, New York, and then something that somebody in Louisiana did 8 years ago. That's it. It's New York and Chicago, New York and Chicago, New York and Chicago. And then when they mentioned Cali, I said, okay, cool. Can you show me the video? They'll show me the video, and I'll punch in to see who got arrested. And I'll be like, look at those people who got arrested for that. Do they look black? Well, that's not the point. What's the point? What's the point? You tried to make it a black thing.
I mean, but what they're doing is AM radio shit, and it's like, look, they don't live around this stuff. They don't live anywhere near it. Like Nick Fuentes lives in a one-bedroom apartment in Florida. How are you talking about California and St. Louis and Kansas City? Like, how are you trying to superimpose that on everyone? Like, okay, well, I could talk about Mansfield, Ohio, and Georgetown, Kentucky, and try to make all the white America look like that, but I would never do that.
Exactly. It's a waste of time. It's a waste. Look, I'm actually going to do a little thing called Nick Fuentes presents white crime. There's a lot of white crime that goes
white
on.
on white crime.
Right. There's a lot of white crime that goes
horrific. Outside of Portland, that whole eastern part of Oregon, man, look.
Oh man,
horrific.
Look, I used to deal with a couple of women in Beaverton. I'm hip.
Yes.
I'm hip. And see, this is another thing about black dudes when they do speak. I can speak with you because you're a world traveler. You see what I'm saying? Even O'Shea changed his thought pattern because he was in Portland and now he's in Africa. He's a world traveler. Once you stop being domestic, your mindset is totally different. Totally different. You don't say little wisecrack stuff like, what are you Scottish people doing? You don't even say little stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't already dropped a couple of G's and flew out there. So
Yeah.
it just amazes me sometimes our community, man. But one of the reasons in putting this up is to break down this thing of when people visit FBA America, understand East Coast behavior is different. A lot of the rest of us have cowboy personalities. Okay. And what I mean by cowboy personalities, a lot of the rest of us who are not Chicago, not Louisiana, not New York, Philly, Baltimore, a lot of us have a cowboy mentality. And what I mean by that is we real smooth until you don't appreciate us being smooth. We real chill until you don't appreciate us being chill. And then we're going to give you that pop off energy, which we have been letting lie dormant for a long time. Oh, C-Lay, it don't look like you from the streets, man. I listen to your voice. Okay, buddy. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I totally get you, buddy. Totally get you. But I'm going to walk away because if I don't, we're going to be in a situation and you're going to be telling the judge something totally fucking different. So let me go ahead and walk. Man of tomorrow.
And the only way that they can actually deal with people is from a standpoint of confrontation. They don't
Exactly.
know how to operate around men and just collaborate with things. And that's a huge problem that people don't even know that they have. I can see it right away and I can disable things in person right away before things even pop off or even go that way. And they don't even know what they're trying to say, but I can see it all over their face what they're trying to do. And then I'm like, oh man, well, how'd you know all that? Like, dude, I have too much experience in law enforcement to not know what you're trying to do here.
Oh yeah, body language is everything.
Oh, yeah.
Look,
And
look.
they don't know
I
if they're screaming something
look.
without even saying something.
Here's the funny thing. So when I came back to America when I was 24, and I believe 25, I worked at a security company. We were handcuffed baton at that time, right? And it was at a high crime mall. Okay, now mind you, no guns. We handcuffing and batoning, right? Me and my homies got so good at that job. But you know what the one thing was? We never had ego about it. I'll never forget, I saw a little 12-year-old coming to a mall with no shirt and a gun on. I said, hey, little homie, you can't be in here like that, man. Do me a favor, man. Put that up. Oh man, sorry about that, OG. And we keep it real player. You see what I'm saying? I I don't know how else to describe it. We got rules. You know what I'm saying? We don't pop off just to pop off. I've handcuffed a lot of dudes, and I tell people I Greco-Roman wrestle, so you be better off boxing me. You know what I'm saying? Than getting to the ground. Getting to the ground, I'm trying to dislocate your shoulder.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh yeah. People don't understand how wrestling, dude. If you get
yeah,
in the hands of a wrestler and on the ground, dude, you in some serious trouble.
yeah. It's number one thing with us is spin to the back, spin to the back, spin to the back, spin to the back. I don't
Yeah.
care what area you get, how it is. That's why I was really laughing when Duplessis got done by Hamzat. I'm like, why are you not turtle kicking? Why are you not spinning? Well, that looks easy to get out of. What the fuck are you
Yeah.
doing? But it's just time for us black people to have real conversation. MOT. When people visit here and they start interacting with us, the black woman who talks a lot and wants to just blurt out shit, she can't be the first person they meet.
Oh no. God no.
She can't be.
There's too
And we
many of
just
them.
got go ahead.
Weak men have created a lot of those women by flooding them with opportunity.
Hmm.
Weak men have given them. They're like, look, I I am willing to be a remote control guy, and you can just do and say whatever you want to. Like Like the new masculinity is based on putting up with all this stuff just to be around, not engaging with women, and all the actual principle that's supposed to come later that never really happens. So it's too many of these guys because it's easy to do. It doesn't require any thought. You just sit there and just pretty much just let stuff happen, which is women's job. It's kind of crazy, but yeah.
Disagree. I'm gonna drag it. I'm gonna drag it. I am gonna drag it because if women are so nurturing, why do we keep killing kids? Yup. Women have aborted an eighth of the world population. That doesn't sound super nurturing to me.
But
Why
would you rather women? Women
Hey, I let you
for
finish.
multiple
I let
different
you finish. I let you
Go ahead.
finish. My turn.
You're right.
All right. So
These kids are lazy as hell from social media. I think to me, main cause. I can.
While I have you here, let's talk about this video. Finally, we're able to see that many of our ladies, not all, they're not strategic on what they present. People like Riva present stuff pretty good. Chantel presents stuff pretty good. But the emotional woman or the emotional man, they don't present their arguments well. They just overtalk. They just hog the mic. I want you to check out this or listen to this video and tell me what you think, MOT, while I have you here.
We could talk about the single parent household all day, but honestly, I think it's just social media all the way around. We're always on our phone, looking at the internet, looking at videos and all this stuff. And we're not actually putting in action to what's going on. It's more like we're just scrolling. And we have opinions. That's it. But no one's actually out there doing anything. Not even when it comes to relationships. They're just walking around. Oh, they don't even know how to talk to girls. They're shy.
So the first thing I want you to notice, you notice how it started like she was speaking about everyone, and then it segued into an anti-male talking point?
Yeah.
This is why, before you start, this is why I don't trust 70% of our female speakers. I just don't. I'm not saying they're bad people. Their agenda tends to always be anti-male. It is very rare, like a purple unicorn, to find a purple unicorn woman who lives off in Wonderland somewhere who can say consistency, us, and never go into these men. What are your thoughts, MOT?
But it's real easy to disable most of her talking points. Only thing you have to do is talk about what type of action that she's actually put in. Because most of these, like most women, they hear it, and the first thing they want to do is get the actual spotlight off of them first by saying anything. Then they want to loop around somewhere in the 2 or 3 minute of getting their stuff off about getting the spotlight off of them to make their point. So what Black people need to do first is skip to the substance. Don't take the bait of the gaslight. Because the bait of the gaslight is, oh, well, all these people and all these abortions. And I'm like, okay, that's those people. But this discussion is about problem solving.
Right.
Because once you steer these people toward problem solving, they can't really do anything because they're not there to solve problems. They're there to gaslight and wait for an actual emotional response.
It's the Ramble Olympics.
Yes.
I want to be heard. Somebody agree with me. You better agree with me, or I'm going to use my power to mute you or kick you out of the conversation. It's like, I don't even want to talk about white folks no more. I don't really want to talk about Republicans and Democrats. I strictly want to talk about mouthy Black people who are not strategic on what they say. One thing I got to give credit to little actress lady who went on Jubilee. You know, she
Amanda
got
Seals.
dissed. Yes, Seals. She got dissed by Black Americans for quite a while in certain many ways. But even when she had the opportunity, right, she stuck to her logic. Hey, don't do that. Don't. Hey, you from Angola. Don't do that. Now, see, I can. This is why I tell people I don't hate everything that Seals has said. I disagree with some of her anti-male talking points, right? But I don't disagree with everything. And this is why I get back to this whole East Coast pop-off behavior. I think that when I think East Coast people are great. Okay, they are hustlers, they are all these things. But I've been in so many conversations where a person starts getting to insults and arguments. And I'm like, where did you grow up? And it's always East Coast. And I'm like, bro, y'all pop off too much, man. We're over here talking about peanut butter sandwiches and you're arguing?
but it's pop off without the expectation of getting stolen right away. That's something that the East Coast, and you can tell East Coast people because once they come down south, they get immediately stomped out, and they're like, whoa, what are you doing?
West Coast too.
We were
West
just
Coast
talking.
too.
We were just talking. You ain't got to hit me. It's like,
Yeah,
dude,
no, there's rules. They got rules. Look, I used to be amazed when I was a teenager, man. We used to have people come over and especially LA, and people used to talk about how they had to draw down on this person and draw down on that person. And I was like, wait a minute, they didn't know that? you know, I had a homie from Mississippi, gold tooth in his mouth, first tall dude I ever seen, man. And you know, he had to be like 6'6", 6'4", and because my homie's 6'4", and he was taller than my homie, and he was getting the girls. He was dark. He had the gold teeth in his mouth. First time I ever saw gold teeth. But then he came back, man. See, like, man, Q, man. They, man, these boys, man, they sat up here and draw down on me. And you know, I'm a Californian. What did you do? You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with you, but what did you do? And lo and behold, he did or said something out of turn behind some female. I said, nobody. We don't do that here. Nobody.
Yeah.
The minute that woman started talking to Ralph about Ralph problems, you should have stood on the side and just watched like it was a movie. You had but he did and said, no, sir. We don't do that here. We don't do that here, sir. And matter of fact, this is what killed our friendship, because I said, here we have this, don't check me, check your chick. That's what we have here. You see me with your girl, I done got maybe, in my lifetime, I done got maybe 6 phone calls from husbands or boyfriends. And I'm like, who? Oh, I don't know who you're talking about, man. Well, why her number in your phone? I have no idea, buddy, because I have no idea who you're speaking about. I know who the hell this woman is. The woman got great throat, but I'm not gonna even entertain this conversation because that's between you and your chick. MOT.
And what people don't understand is the failure point is not with the other person. The lack of trust point is not with the other person. That
A little bit louder,
has,
MOT. A little bit louder.
I said the failure point is not with the other person. The lack of trust point is not with the other person. This stuff has to do with what's going on in that household. Once you start going externally for an internal problem, you've already lost the argument.
Yeah, very much so. Let's listen to a little bit more of this while I got you on here.
Like us.
That's what,
yeah. That sounds like our generation.
What do you mean our generation?
I don't understand why the adults that exist right now, like the younger Gen X, the older millennials, they did that.
No, they
That's
did
how
not.
they acted. I
No, they
hope.
did not.
No, they did not.
Are
That's
y'all
like, what generation
forgetting?
are you
I
talking
am a
about?
millennial.
I'm
Bro,
so
I am
sorry.
a millennial.
Have we forgotten
And
these
we were the
movies?
last generation that can have a conversation, that
Are
can
y'all
actually
forgetting?
talk.
Are y'all forgetting the?
Now you see how this lady's over talking the entire panel. Nobody else can get in. I hate this about our culture as a whole. Our women over talk too much. They gotta be center stage. This woman has already set a premise. She said what she said. She put something out. It's time for you to share the microphone. But guess what? She's still not finished talking. MOT. Did I get it
You
wrong?
have to take the spotlight off me first, then I'll get to my point. And it's like, you know what, you got to skip the bait, because the bait is to make you hulk out on the panel. Like, if you want to look how it's handled appropriately, Amanda Seals handled it appropriately, with people cutting her off or making points that shouldn't be made. That's how you do it. No, you reassert yourself in the
True.
actual conversation when somebody is doing that to you. But that's not needed in this circumstance. See, this is why the civil rights movement was successful. They had professionals who was trained by everyone, and the actual outcome and the output was expected by everyone. No one was going off script. No one was doing all this other stuff. It- you have to get back to that militaristic. What's the training? What's the outcome? What are you trying to do here? Are you trying to defend yourself, the culture? Like, what is it that you're trying to do? And even if you ask them in the middle of this point, they don't even know.
Yeah, it's sad business all the way around. And you know, Pearl being a white woman, Italian woman, really, she shined on this because she kept her decorum. It's you know, I said to Pearl a long time ago, you want to reply, and that's why people keep hating you. Stop replying so damn much. Just wait. But let's hear a little bit more of this, because I want you to hear when Pearl finally does speak, how they try to interrupt her, even though they done spent all this time talking.
Shows in the movies that portrayed how we were, how much of an attitude we had while we was at work. Like,
Maybe you're just like that.
I think
act like we didn't do that.
I think that, by the way, hi, thanks for having me. I'm
I
Pearl.
guess I'm delusional.
Hi, Pearl.
But I think that millennials are like the worst generation of women ever. So
Hey, let's stop there. She makes a great point. Just the worst ever. No decorum. Just over talking, popping off. And notice she didn't put no color on it. She didn't put no color on it. Just constantly popping off. I had a couple of Chinese women that I interacted with over the past couple of days, right? And you know, one of them was two of them was very cute, and the other three were okay, right? And not even okay. Let me be fair. They were twos and threes. But it was just amazing how the twos and threes had this unnecessary brashness.
Yes.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you. And when I was not like other black men willing to tolerate it, I removed myself. The two pretty ones was like, oh, you didn't want to be around them. Is it because they're not pretty? I said, oh, no. It's because they have a different thought process that I don't rock with. And one of the girls said, oh, you a different black man. I said, yeah, I don't operate that type of way, but I'm not going to stop them from being there. You know what I'm saying? And I realized that like that about the black community too. There's a lot of people, I'm not trying to stop you from being you. I just realized I can't be around you. What are your thoughts, MOT?
Yeah, and people notice it right away. And people think, like, the reason why she said millennium, like, as much as you think this is the black thing, you can go to Little Rock, in the whitest area in Little Rock, and see the exact same behavior. You could go into middle America, anywhere around 99% white, you can see the same attitude from the women.
I don't really see a difference.
Same exact thing. Yes, sir. Keep going.
Same exact thing. And if you're not most traveled, you think that you have to defend your stuff against the actual claim. But if somebody is more traveled than you, they can make a basic thing that is true, and you think that it's only directly focused on you. And that's not what's going on here. But if you're not traveled and you don't understand the point, and this is what I mean by a lot of the conversation need to be had behind the scenes before you invite somebody on like this. Because if you don't understand, Pearl triggers people who don't understand a point is a point for a point's sake. It's not directed towards you. She's
Absolutely.
also young herself. She's talking about herself within the group.
Yeah.
And you're responding as if she's talking about you when she's talking about her and you.
Hold on. Hold on. Let me dig into that. So I've had a lot of that. So for 4 years, I was on this particular app. I'm not going to mention the app because the app is trash, and I don't want to poison your life by even giving the app any shine. But I was on a particular app, and that was the number one thing with half of the black people who spoke: internalizing. We can be talking about dolphins, and somehow it triggers you for the one time you went to the ocean, and then you go into this long anecdotal insulary thing that you really should be talking to a therapist about the ocean. And then many of us will be like, what does that have to do with dolphins? Oh, well, y'all was talking about the ocean, so I just wanted to share mine. What the, you hijacking the conversation when you do that. You're internalizing. We're talking about a topic, jelly sandwiches, and somehow we're now talking about your father. What the fuck is going on? Let's continue with the video, man.
Between millennial and Gen Z women. It's my personal opinion. If anything, like when I interviewed women on my show and stuff, I thought like, yeah, they might be socially awkward, but they're less like combative. Gen Z.
That's because they don't know how to communicate. Do you agree with that? They don't know how to explain their thoughts.
Whoa, man of tomorrow. The white woman said they're less combative, and the black woman who has not allowed others to speak comes back on the mic and says, well, that's because they don't know how to communicate. What is she talking about? We lost Manna tomorrow. What is she talking about? This is why it's so hard to talk with black women who are not strategic in the things that they say. I'm going to repeat it for MOT because he just came back. MOT, the white woman says YNs or generation whatever is less combative in their conversation, and the black woman who has not let other people speak, who keeps talking, comes back on the microphone and says, well, that's because they don't know how to communicate. Huh? What? Let's continue, MOT.
Without, I guess, getting nervous about what they're saying, since they're,
I guess, getting nervous about what they're saying. Let me run this back because this is just fascinating. It's the main speaker, black woman, who is just rambling off incoherent shit.
Thanks for having me. I'm Pearl.
Hi, Pearl.
But I think that millennials are like the worst generation of women ever. So I don't really see a difference between millennial and Gen Z women. It's my personal opinion. If anything, like when I interviewed women on my show and stuff, I thought like, yeah, they might be socially awkward, but they're less like combative. Gen Z.
that's because they don't know how to communicate. Do you agree with that? They don't know how to explain their thoughts without, I guess getting nervous about what they're saying since they're, not confrontational.
Yeah, I might agree with that, but I just don't see a huge difference. I'm a younger millennial though, so it's possible that maybe like the 40-year-old, I can't remember where millennial ends, that maybe there's a difference, but just when I was interviewing women, I just didn't really see much of a difference in social skills. I think I kind of think it's affected everybody since COVID. Like I think everyone's social skills have gone down. I see a little bit of a difference in people over the age of like 45 or 50. They seem to have like a sense of clarity, just like, but Facebook, like Tinder was what, 2010? Facebook was
around the same time.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've had the internet for a while. I think it affected millennials too. Personal opinion though, maybe you guys are seeing different stuff.
Well, I agree that the millennials and Gen Z. So I'm not speaking of that generation. I'm more speaking of like our parents, our grandparents. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm not sure if Bo are you talking about like, I don't know how old you are, but our parents and our grandparents, they knew how to communicate. They knew how to be polite and all that stuff.
I see
older millennials and Gen X. I specifically said that.
Oh, okay. I might have missed it. I'd say the cutoff was around 45 that I see a difference. But like, let's be honest, the moms between like 30 and 45, they're on Facebook, like even 50. I mean, they loved their Facebook. I don't know about you guys, but they were like posting everything on there. So, yeah.
Now, why am I showing this? Because it's sometimes good to analyze our people, especially when outsiders come in to speak. Ultimately, Pearl, the white woman, says, hey, look, yeah, you guys could be right about that. But I'm noticing that the cutoff is around 45. Around 45, they get a little bit better at speaking. That's a real thing, man. That's a real thing.
It is. Dude,
go ahead, MOT.
My brother's just a couple years younger than 45. Different speech pattern, different everything. And he works in corporate America. And always have been since his 20s. Different everything when it comes to communication. It's crazy, Dad. It 2 years. 2 years. And it's totally different. And it's totally different among his peer group as well. And I noticed that, you didn't get a chance to talk or speak at all. That's why you had to sum up your points before you even said anything. But them, they get to just run off at the mouth, and that's what it is. It's crazy.
Yeah, and the running off at the mouth, and this goes along with this video, when people visit America, understand, and that's part of my map too that I've put in there. There are very mouthy people, and then there are slow to reply people. And very mouthy. I can't even date a mouthy woman, no matter how pretty she is. I can't date a woman that rambles.
Oh no. No. I can't be around it, man. I'm sorry. I've grown out of that.
So we had got into a conversation in one of my Black discussion groups. And I made this point because dudes was talking about women, and I said, look, I don't believe a lot of Black men, because 10% of the Black men will come to the microphone and say, I love a spicy woman. And then 6 months later, you complaining about that shit. 2 years later, you complaining about that shit. I don't understand that, so for me, I find that a lot of men are not really exhibiting men behavior. They just want to be involved. Kind of like what you said. They just want to they want to be near the baseball park, but they never want to fall in love with pitching, batting. They want to talk about and critique how somebody could have did something better, but they don't ever want to get out there when people are actually playing. And that's what I find a problem also. When I speak to people, a lot of times I'm not disrespecting nobody or nothing, but people are so upset with the fact that I'm sure. And like I keep telling people, I've been off the porch since 14. I was a latchkey kid. I was doing stuff on my own, making my own money since 14. Bought my first car myself 15. I didn't need my dad's help. I was out there. I picked up my first gun at 15. I know I sound how I sound because I'm an honor roll student, right? But aside from that, I'm from the block. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a need to insult people. You know what I'm saying? I just don't have a need. Now you bring that out of me, it's going to be hard to stop it. You know what I'm saying? And I know that. So I tend to walk away. You know what I mean? It's crazy. What are your thoughts, MOT?
But to some people, that's the only way they can get their point across is doing that. And they've been around people that the only place that they can get their stuff off is doing that. So it's again, it can be easily corrected because I've seen it when I was in the military. I had no, you're gonna learn how to act around adults. They don't give a shit where you from, what you do. This is how you gonna act. And if you get the whole crew dropped, don't worry about it. We're gonna handle it in house. You're not gonna be messing up long. Yes, we're gonna handle it in house.
That's the one thing I love about the military, that barracks discussion. There's going to be a barracks discussion. Might have to happen after everything shut down, but there will be a barracks discussion. And it will get corrected. Because when you start penalizing the group for something one or two people are doing, they gonna have a barracks discussion.
Because it's gonna be a super conversation. Because it doesn't matter how badass you are, you're not about to whoop 60 motherfuckers' ass. No one is.
Hey, we gonna have a platoon discussion.
Yeah.
I guarantee that. But you know what? This is why I wish that they would put more repeat offenders and force them into boot camp.
Yes.
Because, a lot of repeat offenders only do what they do because somebody haven't punched them.
In their mouth. And once it happened and it's like, it don't even have to happen to you.
Right.
Once you see it happen to other people, you're going to conform and you're going to fall in line. And that's what like an actual group is supposed to provide, is the conformity. And that's why it's hard to bring some of these YNs into actual culture men discussions, because they think the way that we're talking about women, that they have to overcompensate with no experience and say a whole bunch of crazy stuff. And it's like, this dude's a weirdo, man. We can't have this dude around us.
Exactly. You know what? Even taking it to another level, talking to you in this moment, I realized something too. There are a lot of people who've never been able to do what they do without a weapon. You ever think about that? Your access to a weapon has gave you this Tupac movie juice type of energy.
Or around a whole bunch of people.
Right.
Substitutes as a weapon.
Right. Your homeboys for backup.
Yeah.
I got to do a video hopefully today about how the father, so there was this boy, he was going around picking on people. And he wasn't the type, to your point, MOT, where he could just fight you head up. He had to have his homeboys. So he went around picking on this one dude with the glasses, and the dude with the glasses was dropping him. Then his homeboy jumped in. He dropped him too. And then a third motherfucker, right? So now you going around thinking you the man, MOT, and this is your point, but it ain't you. It's you and the two dudes you with. So the dude with the glasses caught him slipping and lit him up, right? Ended his life. And his father comes out mad. And I'm like, whoa. You got a dad and you going around doing that? How did that happen? I need to interview the father. How did you allow your son to go around bullying people and not even truly bullying people, just with a click bullying people that didn't want to fight him? How did you even allow your son to be out there like that? MOT, educate me, man.
And it turns out he didn't have custody. It's only post hoc rational. It's only after the fact, after things happen. But these things are supposed to be caught with leadership before these things happen. Like once your child starts bullying people, there's something else that's going on within that household or within the dynamic of the two-parent household. Well, the two parenting personnel
Yeah.
that is causing him to respond like this to other people around him or her.
Your
Right.
son should have been way too busy on the weekend.
With other things.
I mean, bro, let's say you are an outside parent. Why he ain't out with you on the weekend? Why he ain't working in your backyard? Shit, I got weeds that need to be done now. If I had a son, I'd be out there having him do that shit. What the fuck? I get little kids in the neighborhood every now and then. Every summer they come around. Man, you got some work? And shit, hell, fuck yeah, I put you to work. Not a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Man, look, my grandfather had us out like we thought it was fun to go out there to drive tractors, and because nobody would let a child touch machinery. Like
Right.
that's the thing about my grandfather, man. He had us doing roofing. He had us doing. It was like it's normal. Your aunt know how to do roofing. You're gonna learn how to do stuff when you're out here. You see me out here working. You want to come out here and hang out with me? You're gonna come out here and hang out and do stuff. And so we out there eating good, doing all, but nobody had the experience. And it's like they find other destructive mechanisms to actually do other stuff with it,
Right.
like bullying people, and they always go after people that they think are weak. Like weak is a mind state. Weak is not a way a person looks.
Yeah.
Because most weak people know how to fight nowadays.
Look,
And yeah.
Look, this is something I told a dude, I want to say maybe 4 years ago, right? I said, bro, because he for some reason he was doing the insults, right? And my friend in Atlanta never seen me move so fast. And I told my friend after the fact, I said, because in wrestling, we're very agile. We're big, but we're agile, and you have to do a lot of lateral movement. And a lot of people can't move laterally. You feel me? So even when
that's a learned skill. That is a learned skill. So you have to do that 1,000 times.
Even when I play basketball, I have this thing that I call starfish moves, like the arms of a starfish, right? You jab step, toward the person just to see if they can react. But then you do a Tim Hardaway, because I used to be a big Tim Hardaway fan. You do a Tim Hardaway bang bang, left right, just to see if they can keep up. And then you see where they are. And then when you do your explosive step, okay, you can't do 2 steps to the left very quickly. You just can't on some James Harden shit. You just can't do it. So I find that a lot of dudes, when they in a fight, and I tell tall dudes this all the time, I said, you're focused on the fact that you're tall. I said, you don't even know where your spleen is. You don't even know where that is. But certain fighters know where that is. You don't even know to protect your liver. You have no clue. All that, the fact that you're tall, all you're doing is giving a body puncher a lot of options.
Really? Seriously?
And then if you dirty box like I do, sir, I'm going to attack your knee, the side of your knees first. I'm going to let you get 2 punches in an effort to get your knee. He said, oh, And I never forget, the guy said, I forgot how he said it. He said to the thing of, why would you do that? I said, you think this is a boxing match? This is a fight,
Unreal.
nigga. This is a fight. I said, this is why I tell you tall dudes. I said, don't get into fights with certain dudes, because certain dudes are not going to make this a boxing match. Certain dudes are going to win this shit. So you shouldn't, unless you're an agile dude, don't think you're going to be able to strike a motherfucker from a distance at your height, because what's the first thing they teach you in boxing? Get low. Unless you're a stand-up boxer, that's the first thing they teach you. So fuck y'all talking about. But I'm sorry, I got on a ramble. Let me go back to this lady, MOT. Hey, it is good talking with you, MOT. It brings out a whole different side of my mentality. But hold on for a second. Let's get some more of this.
Do you guys think it's gendered specific? Because I see women on social media way more than men.
I think we just like to voice our opinions more than men do. Men are starting to talk more, but could be a female thing.
Oh, you got to factor in the fact that social media is more of a safer space for women than it is for men. Given the incels, you got NSFW, you have guidelines and protected members and all this other stuff. When men typically can't really voice how they really feel or even behave the way they actually feel on social media without being canceled. To answer the question, I was about to say the prompt like TikTok. I think you stated, JR, earlier about men being weak or something like that, or soft or whatever. I would say.
Let me stop right there. I like the point that he made, but here's a problem that I have in the black male community. The black male community loves to shame talk, MOT. The insults, weak, soft. These are conversations that we don't really say on the West Coast because we understand that starts fights. Now, East Coast people, they say this type of shit a lot. I'm not going to put all of it at their floor, but as a West Coast dude, we ain't going to say nothing about MOT's hat at all. No, at all. It's never going to come up. Maybe a young dude will speak, some dude that just turned 20. He might say some shit, because he's still living the middle school life. But the rest of us, we have a black cowboy parade out here every year. We are used to seeing black dudes walk around here with fucking cowboy hats. We say nothing. We're used to seeing females walk around with cowboy hats. We don't say shit. So what is this thing with black men needing to insult and say slick mouth shit? Teach me something, MOT.
Like I said, it's a decorum thing. It's a decorum thing, and to them, it's the environmental of where they grow up at. It's the only way that you have a voice is you are clowning somebody or downing somebody or roasting somebody or trolling somebody, and this type of decorum was not something that me as a Generation X dude. I haven't been through that. And it's hard for me to come around because every time you come around these people, it's always, this is the only way that they're able to have a conversation. It's starting with that, and then there's the seriousness afterwards, if we even get to it. I don't, and it's like, once you come online, you see everybody interact in that kind of way, right? And it's hard because I come from a different level. And people think that, oh man, you're just so serious and you want things to work all the time. Don't you want to just have fun? I'm like, dude, shit working is fun. You get to have all the fun when the work's done, when everything works. But to them, they're like, we're not going to fix anything. These problems are great. It allows us to be us. And it's like, I don't know how you get through to people on that level. When to them, these problems are not really problems. We've accepted them. And I'm like, these things are unacceptable. You can have a lot more fun once the work's done. And they're like, well, we haven't lived in that world, and that's too much work that we're unwilling to put in to get to that world. But you do that, and we're gonna do us, and I guess we just can't hang out. That's
Look,
just where they're kind of
and that's
devolved
just
into.
what it is. Welcome, Chaos Rain. Let me bring you up to speed, Chaos Rain. We try to keep our conversations under 90 seconds because we're trying to move the conversation along. So just make sure you keep that in mind. Where we're at right now in the conversation, we're doing a little bit of what's happening with Pearl on that stage, but we're also talking about the Black community as a whole. So MOT, I totally agree, man. A lot of people, a lot of Black males just love to insult. I don't get it. And when it comes to, like, when you talked about your grandfather working, I feel the same way. It's like, I don't mind when my father used to have me manicuring, and I mean that literally, manicuring the grass, the edges of the grass. I think I had to be 10 or 11, and I never forget I had these shears edging the grass, and I had to edge it the way he wanted it edged so he can reward me with extra money, right? But then I got to a point, and I'm good. I'm already making money. I'm 14. I don't really need to do that anymore. But I think to your credit, and hopefully KR's Rain can tap in on this too. I think to your credit that a lot of men, Black men, I believe that this is where most of our fist fights come from. The need to slick mouth each other. And I see Africans do it a lot too, to each other. They will do these slick mouth insults. And I'll say something like, what are you getting out of that? Oh man, just have fun. I'm not a fun boy. MOT, you get it because you're older like me. I'm not a fun boy. I do fun. I probably have more fun than you do, but I'm not a giggly. I'm not that. I'm how am I supposed to be proud of that? Chaos Rain, what are your thoughts?
I think I look at it as at different parts of different environments where people are interacting and how they engage in conversations. As you know, if you're a West Coast person, there's certain decorum of engagement. Like up here in the East Coast, it's a little different. And people either adapt or they just avoid altogether. That's how I look at it personally. Um, Not saying everything should be a physical fight for every insult, but most people take it personal and serious, and they let it know either with their words or with their fists. This research, and that's how we stay up.
I rented a brownstone in Brownsville on 98th for about 10 months when I was in my 20s. I was just traveling the world, right? The amount of fist fights and shootings I saw sitting on that fucking brownstone between people who grew up together, who've been around each other for years, it was just like fascinating. The one time I went to the store, hey, Callie, that's not your bodega. It's right across the street. I'm just going to get a quart of water. Your bodega is around. I said, oh my God, you niggas. I think this shit is too much. This shit is too much. Even the LA Crips don't act like this. This is a lot. You know what I'm saying? But these are y'all rules. Whatever. It's all good, man. Thank you for letting me know. But it's so confrontational, man. It's like, how do you I would be going crazy if I had to be confrontational every fucking morning. Which part did you spend your teenage years, Chaos Rain? Help me understand. Maybe I'm off code. What state did you spend your teenage years?
Most of my teen years are mostly on the East Coast, most likely. And when I remember back in my teen years, I did some things, not really serious things. I stayed to myself mostly. And had some friends up to point in high school, but not really too serious as far as my
Okay.
layout. Yeah.
Seems like you survived. Let's get back to this thing with Pearl. I want to hear both of y'all. We got about 10 more minutes, and then I gotta have a meeting with my handyman to work on some of this house shit. All you gentlemen who are buying property, please go buy some Cracker Barrel stock. I have bought $500 of Cracker Barrel stock. Make sure you guys get some Cracker Barrel stock. Okay, this is real talk. And also I'm working on getting a third house to try to make that money move. And because I want a place in Seattle. I got a place in Atlanta, place in Cali. I want to get a place in Seattle. So make sure you guys, be owners, man. Don't stop being renters. Be owners. Go ahead and get you some multiple properties. All that good shit. And if you fall in love, great. But I'm gonna tell you, protect your shit with a prenup. You can love your woman to death, but make sure she knows that she can leave. Ain't nobody holding her. You'll probably even give her a 50K. Go ahead, take that 50K, and go. Focus on your son and your children. Stop being mad at these women. But let's continue with this because I'm interested to hear what you guys think.
Say, a lot of parents today, especially mothers, aren't raising children based on outcomes. They're raising them based on their own unresolved trauma. Instead of asking, what will help my child? What will help my child thrive in this world? They ask, what will protect my child from what I went through? And that's dangerous because now you're parenting out of fear, not wisdom.
I have always looked at women and some men as they operate in fear too much. I have told my own mother throughout the decades, Mom, you talk too defensive. You talk from a standpoint of fear. I don't understand that because I've been on my own for so long. I don't understand. I told a guy the other day, and let's start with Chaos Reign, and then we'll go to Man of Tomorrow. I told a guy the other day, 13 years old, I had a fist fight with 3 dudes. I caught that. I caught the first dude clipped me because I went toward the second dude. I went toward the second dude because I used to watch a bunch of Godzilla movies, and anytime Godzilla got teamed up, he always clipped that second dude. Never let that second dude get an opportunity. All right. I got clipped by the first dude, but I took that punch and I clocked the fuck out of the first dude. Then I turned to engage with the first dude, got him, but then I got knocked out by the third dude. Okay. And I'll tell you honestly, because I don't like just making it seem like I got clipped by the third dude. All right. And I got knocked out. And it was the first time I ever got knocked out. I felt my body fall the whole 9. My point is, once you done fought 3 motherfuckers, one or 2 guys ain't shit. 1 or 2 dudes ain't nothing. So to this guy's point, you don't want a parent or a leader that operates from fear. Chaos Reign, what are your thoughts?
I totally agree. You have to defend yourself and go in that situation unknowing that you will either come a victorious or failure. That's how.
And what about the parents who are teaching their children out of fear?
That in my opinion, when a parent teaches a child fear, regardless for their betterment, is not make them understand as the role as just a man or a young man going into manhood. That the world's uncertain and you have to deal with the unknown and deal with fear and embrace it head on. Fear is good to a degree, but you must not be fearing everything. You're going to have to overcome some form of fears one way or the other. That's what I'm saying.
Appreciate it. MOT, what are your thoughts on what I said?
All right, like what my grandfather used to always teach is fear is an improper response to not knowing how to handle confrontation. A physical improper response. to not knowing how to handle confrontation, because he used to always deal with all types of people. Used to have us around.
Oh, we lost MOT again. But he's out in Kansas. He's a businessman. He's constantly driving and going past these repeaters. And sometimes these repeaters are not connecting effectively. And that's another thing, Chaos Reign, that the black man can get into. We can actually go put up some repeaters and own them. And, it's time for the black man to stop talking about dating and women so much, Chaos Reign, and to really let's get together and talk about how we can put up Wi-Fi repeaters and own those and contract those to T-Mobile. And how about that, Chaos Reign?
I mean, it would be a start. There are some men in tech that, if we were dealing with solving problems, we'd get more further instead of, making and sticking on problems that's not being fixed.
Why won't she have sex with me, Chaos Reign?
Question: is that Pearl Davis on the corner?
Yeah, that's Pearl. Let's listen to some more Pearl. Matter of fact,
Raising sons to be emotionally safe, but socially weak. You're raising daughters to be independent, but not cooperative. And the society, the peers, the TikTok, Instagram algorithm reinforces the same fear. And the result of that is a generation of young people optimized for protection, not purpose.
As most of you know, I have been fighting on the front lines of the simp epidemic, and Potent Herbs Clinic
has something to say, and I kind of feel
we just buy damn near anything. So, but
silenced or softer in that manner, because even this year, when it was Men's Mental Health Month, I saw that talked about a lot.
But then why are all the channels that talk about that kind of stuff demonetized and kicked off all the platforms? Like I've gone through 8 TikToks, 3 Instagrams demonetized on YouTube. You don't see that for like Call Her Daddy, which says openly like misandrous stuff, or other platforms that advocate for women's issues.
This is an outstanding point that she makes. I've had that also. When I had 48,000 subscribers, YouTube clipped my whole channel without talking to me, without anything, because I was sitting in my convertible car with a cigar. And they called it nudity. I said to them, "Where is the nudity?" They said, we're going to stand by our decision to cancel your page. I said, what? And then one of my male contacts in San Mateo told me, KRS Reign, we have 80% women working here at YouTube in San Mateo. I said, okay, I get it.
How long ago your original channel was clipped to have as high as 50K subscribers? How long ago was that?
The 48,000 happened in 2011, and then I did.
Ago?
Huh?
That long ago?
Yeah.
Over 14 years.
Yeah, and
Okay.
and then manhood lessons. I had 22,000, and that got clipped in, I want to say 2014.
Okay, 11 years ago.
And then I just started giving up on trying to keep rebuilding. It just became a thing of, it seemed like YouTube wanted people to lie and spread propaganda.
Yes.
And the more people would have a more entertained point of view,
mm-hmm.
the more they would leave them alone. And matter of fact, I had one more. I got up to 8,000 on one other. Oh, Ask a Classy Black Man.
Okay.
And then a jealous dude who's just a panderer to black women.
Mm-hmm.
He reported my page because I had a thumbnail of all of the black YouTubers, like probably 15 black YouTubers, and his face was in one of them.
Okay.
And at that time, there was a YouTube policy
Oh, bullying?
on using people who are also YouTubers. They've since got rid of that. But this dude, without just saying, "Hey, bro, can you remove me?" Oh, no problem. I would have did that. He just went straight to the women of YouTube to get me clipped.
Yeah.
And then ultimately the women of YouTube clipped him because he made a video. No, very seriously.
No, I laugh because it tells you when you go to the people to get rid of one person, they in return get rid of you.
Exactly. And that's
So
exactly what happened.
all that work you did, and yet they got rid of you. Go ahead, continue.
Oh, his name was Angel Ramirez. And
oh, wow.
And Angel was very popular until he made one video asking women to be fair on how they critiqued men, and they vilified this dude and turned on him.
Wow.
And he got so, and he tried to come back, but he couldn't gain no following. And he tried to do what Tommy Sotomayor did, create a website and have people go there, but nobody would follow him.
Well, right now here he's on Patreon, so he's making some money off people that follow him now. So I don't know.
Yeah, but he's always done that because he has a brand that he tries to push. But the point is, he was an inconsistent man. He was behaving like a boy with power. He was behaving like a boy who was popular.
Okay.
And he was throwing, spears at people.
Okay.
Trying to protect women. Mm-hmm. And in the end, they cut his head off too.
Yeah. That's how it is.
And that's just it's the sad thing about a lot of men. I don't believe in beating women up, but when women put themselves forward as thought provocateurs, then you need to be able to be, we need to be able to cross swords. If not, why are you in the dojo? I don't get it. This is one thing I don't understand about urban women. And when I say urban women, I mean women who have a city behavior. You want to be a talker, but you don't want other people to talk. This is the one thing I also notice about Black community. It's a you better agree with me community. You better agree with me, Chaos, or I'm going to go get a weapon or one of my friends to make sure you never speak again. Huh? What are we doing?
Oh, don't forget, I'll get the man on you.
Right. And this dude will come over here fighting you with no information.
Yeah.
Well, she said, bro, it didn't even go down like that. Well, I don't give a fuck how it goes. Okay, well, here we go.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. And then after the smoke clears, well, Mr. Charlie, we're gonna charge you with assault. Well, why? Because this nigga did this and this. Turns out none of that happened, Mr. Charlie. Your girlfriend just used your dumbness. It's kind of like the brother who went to go shoot the guy, and because his sister told him to, and come to find out sister lied. The guy never did none of that. He just walked away. Or the Sha'Carri Richardson. Why you not why you not arresting him? He the man.
Oh yeah, I was hoping that you were going to talk about that because that's a serious case study right there.
It's crazy.
I know. It's a lot of asking for you on this research because you're a businessman, but these are scenarios that has to be studied in a verbatim. You get me? So
yeah.
Think about this. You did this on a public airplane facility, and you still got endorsements. Let it be a man, a Black man did that. Everything he'll be done.
No, not only would he be done, 39,000 Black men who was standing next to him would be done also. Because when if KRS Rain makes a mistake, they try to penalize Mr. Research too, even though I wasn't even over there.
Yeah.
If Mr. Research makes a mistake, they try to put KRS Rain and MOT in on it too. When neither one of y'all was even over there. And then what's so amazing about black dudes and how they get screwed up in the game, all they do is charge us with something or say we did something. They got the one guy who just won $100,000 because he was sitting out at the hotel he was renting, which means he legally needed to be there. But somebody called and said that he was smoking. Okay. And when the cops arrived, they saw no evidence of smoke. There was no lighter on the dude. There was nothing. And yet they still put handcuffs on this guy. This shit is crazy. But let's continue real quick because I got to close out. We've been over here for an hour and a half. Let's get the rest of this, and then KRS Rain, we'll get your final thoughts.
So I disagree like wholeheartedly because I've lived it, that it's the same. It's definitely not, because one is and it makes perfect sense why they do it. They make more money off of women. We just buy damn near anything. So, but
I mean,
yeah,
that's coming from an economic standpoint or like a business standpoint, because it's not like the actual person that's trying to express themselves demonetize their own account. So we can't say that because the account gets demonetized, it's a direct correlation of them being softer or being silent. No, they're talking about it.
But it shows that one society accepts one and not the other. So it's like if you're paid to say misandrous things about men, and you literally make money off of doing it, which you see big content creators do that all the time, like Drew Afawala. I can't say her last name, but there's content creators like that make money. They're obviously going to do it more, right? I mean, when you're paid to do something, you do it more. One side is not paid, one side's paid. So
that has nothing to do with, are we as the parents raising our children to be soft or silent?
So this is what I don't like. I don't like when our women try to police the conversation only to what they want to talk about. Okay. The conversation's been all over the place. You brought up women on YouTube. So she's just following up her point. To try to police her and just make it about the parent, something that he brought up, you can't keep policing that. Let's listen a little bit more and we'll get chaos.
And then, do the children actually act soft or silent? That has everything to do with what the business and the company can make money off of. When you're talking about demonetization, the question is are the children soft and silent? No, they're not. You just said that they're talking about it on the internet.
And what I hate with our women, they've said what they said, but they continue to go into another paragraph. You've said, let people reply. This need to hog the microphone with just rambling, it's exhausting.
But the internet is trying to shut them up, but they're not silent or soft.
Correct. But it's not just the internet. And this does affect the kids too, because the school system's 90% women. And so even if you teach, like, the boys are kind of, guys are pragmatic. If they speak up and the teachers punish them, if they go on social media and they're punished there, then they go to college, they're punished there, they just shut up. So it doesn't really matter how you raise the kids, because if the world punishes them for talking, they're just going to be silent. So
but that's the whole point. I think that kind of ties into Bo's point, is like the world telling them to shut up was a millennial and Gen X problem. Gen Z doesn't give a damn if you tell us to shut up. Gen Z is like, who are you to tell me anything? I'm going to scream even louder. You're not going to silence me. You're not going to stifle me. That's the point. You're talking about it's the world trying to shut them up. I never said the world wasn't trying to shut them up.
You see how she turned this into a me? It's the grandstanding. It's tiring. The white woman is talking about the collective. And now you, who are trying to be the pastor of the church, who won't let other people speak, you made it about, hey, you must be replying to me. No, oh my God, this shit, it is exhausting. Hold on, KR's Rain. I'm trying to get through the rest of it.
But the question is talking about, will they shut up? No, they won't shut up. Even if you tell them to shut up, even if you're screaming at the top of your lungs that they're wrong, they don't care. That is something that is tied into Gen Z blood that they won't stop.
Fire generation of people, though. They can't even keep a job. So they might want to shut up. And, you know,
it always goes back to something anti-male. Like I keep saying, they are never on topic. They always slide back to an anti-male discussion.
That's for starters. We got to stop trying to coddle them. No, those are the most whiny group ever is Gen Zs and lower millennials. And it shows. And for anybody to say the single mothers are raising good children, it overwhelmingly shows that they are not. Okay. Now, it also shows that poverty plays a huge role in how these same kids from these single mother homes are performing in life, you know, and to think that a woman should just have kids out of wedlock and just bring another man around because they can have a role model has nothing to do with the child's biological father. And that's sad that we are promoting this garbage. That a woman should just, oh, it's okay, she go out here and have kids by other men. Oh my God, just let her. So what? She's not married. Don't judge her and then get mad when another man and then want another man to come around and be the kid's father. It doesn't work that way. There's something called DNA that child is going to emulate at some point in its life.
I know, but unfortunately, it does work that way because women are just gonna keep doing it. They'll just they'll do it forever.
Hold on, Pearl.
I'm sorry. Exactly.
I know they're just it's never gonna stop.
I'm not gonna let y'all misrepresent what I think
ever.
Do you see how the same woman who been hogging the microphone is now trying to cut that black woman off and Pearl off to state her earlier point yet again, as if everybody is replying to her? This is why I don't like black women who are not strategic thinkers. Black women who are not strategic thinkers just want to ramble and be heard. These two people are talking about the collective of America and behavior of America. This other church pastor woman is talking about y'all must be responding to me. Let's listen some more.
All right, that it was okay. No one ever said, because y'all are you're talking about me. I never said that it was okay. I never said
glorifying single motherism as if they're
I wasn't talking about you.
Children.
I did not glorify anything. I was stating facts.
Yep.
You see the chaos that's happening? Grandstanding, hogging the microphone. Our women have to stop hogging the microphone. They've got to stop hogging the microphone. And now you're taking things so emotional in a discussion. Even the white woman, Pearl, said, I wasn't talking about you. She's just talking about the topic. And even if she was talking about you, let it ride. Agree to disagree. But this need to control the microphone. I'm sorry, KR's Rain. We almost finished. Hold on.
That's not a fact.
Fact is glorifying. You know what? I said I wasn't gonna do this.
Raising better children. Show me a stat where single mothers are overwhelmingly the better parent.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. No, you're right. You are so right, lady.
I know I'm right.
And
she keeps saying you got it. Keep trying to interrupt. Keep trying to stop other people from making a point. Our women hog the microphone too much.
You're right about that.
Yeah, I also agree. Women are terrible parents generally. Horrible parents.
The biggest abusers.
Yeah, I actually think sometimes the kids are better off when the parents are divorced, but not because the women are better parents, but because then the kids get some peace and quiet at the dad's house, but only if there's like 50-50. Like no nagging, no complaining.
Y'all drag.
No, none of that.
It's
like peace and quiet.
Let me say. I would say this because my kids were raised in a divorce home. The kids actually did better when they were with their father. That's just a fact. It's just a 100% fact. Even when it came down to discipline compared to when he disciplined, he didn't have to. I just talked to my kids. They're in their 30s. Yeah. He didn't have to discipline them the way I had to do it. His voice alone shut them down.
And
So-
it's always going to be like that, right? Because a man's presence is different than a woman's presence. We are nurturers. The way we handle things with our children are different. I don't think women as parents are horrible.
Well, if women,
Pearl
but wait,
stated. Hold on,
if
Pearl.
women,
Hold on,
but if
Pearl.
women
Hold on,
are, I
Pearl.
gotta
Hold on, Pearl.
come
Let me
in.
finish.
I gotta.
I don't
All right,
think
all right,
women
all right. I'll let you
are
go.
horrible parents. I think that single mother households struggle much more in raising their children. And the statistics do show that single parent households that are male leading are better. The kids end up better. And that's because the structure is different. We are here for the nurturing. That's why you need both.
Yeah,
right?
so
But we're
I
just
just
not gonna drag it
I
and be like,
disagree. I'm gonna
all women
drag
are
it.
this
I'm gonna
terrible,
drag
girl.
it.
Girl,
I
do
am
it.
gonna drag it because if women are so nurturing, why do we keep killing kids? Yup. Women have aborted an eighth of the world population. That doesn't sound super nurturing to me.
But
Why
would
are
you rather
we the?
women?
Why
Hold
are
on.
we the?
Women
Why are the?
abort
I
children
let
for
you
multiple
finish. I
different
let
reasons.
you finish. I let you
Go ahead.
finish. My turn.
You're right.
All right. So. And also, women are more likely to abuse children. In fact, when there's child abuse, it is never the guy. Pretty much, if it's a man, it's usually a guy that the woman brought in. Oh, the woman brings in the new boyfriend, he abuses the kids. So that's still the woman's fault. This idea that women are nurturing, well, what's your evidence for it? Other than we give birth, and anyone can do, like a dog can do that, a cat. So I don't think that makes us nurturing. I just don't see
biological makeup that women are nurturing, and I'm not
Prove
saying
it.
all women are nurturing. Of course, there are bad women out there, and there are also fathers who abuse their children. So we're not going to only say that only women.
I will
abuse
say.
their children.
I
That's
will
not a
say.
fact, though, Pearl.
I will
And
say
then you
that
put
most.
facts behind it. We're not
It
gonna
is.
get on
It
this
is.
platform
It is.
and
It is.
lie.
It is
We're
a
not gonna
fact.
do
It
that.
is no, but it is a fact that the majority of abuse is done by women. Like
Majority
imagine
and all is two
and
different things.
I know, but it's
we
it's
never say it all. We never say it all.
No,
I
Pearl
never.
did.
we never say it.
No,
Dr.
I actually
Pearl did.
didn't. I didn't. But I said the
You did.
majority.
We can run it back.
I
You
said the
all
majority. Okay. Are you trying to nitpick here? Or are you trying to understand what I'm saying?
Nitpick. I'm just saying you're making
yeah.
statements.
Yeah, I know, but you're proving my point even further by the nagging.
And that's
and
probably
see
why
the and see
platforms
the
get demonetized.
I'm not lying. I'm actually telling.
So this woman is jumping up. She didn't hear the white woman say majority, but in her mind, she heard all. So she's fighting something that never happened. Again, our women creating things that never happened and going into paragraph after paragraph, hogging the mic. They let her speak, but now she's constantly interrupting. I've been in several conversations like this where the women don't want anybody to speak that doesn't agree with them.
Right?
I'm actually telling the truth. I am. So
right?
I mean, one out of three women have one out of three women have killed a kid, and the majority of abuse is done by women. You're the one that's misrepresenting that by saying I'm lying, because that's true. The majority.
You said man never abused
the majority.
Their children.
They rarely.
She never said the word never. More fantasy conversations being put into the conversation by our women who are constantly hogging the mic and internalizing everything into anecdotal.
They rarely
just like there are women that abuse children. And what we rather, if most women are so terrible and they're not nurturers, then why do we have a problem with them aborting children if they're not going to take care of them correctly and just abuse them and kill them once they're in the world anyway?
Okay, thanks. Good question.
That she is not
good
prepared
question.
or ready, and we don't know her circumstances.
Good question.
Because anything could have happened.
She just rambling, saying stuff she's already previously said, repeating the same sentence 5 times. Our women love hogging the mic.
Good
then
question.
she should terminate that pregnancy instead of bringing a
I'd
life
prefer.
into this world that she's not going to take care for.
How
I
about
To
she
put
mean,
in a
not get
system where nobody else is going to
how about
I
she
would
benefit.
just not get
actually,
pregnant? How
I
about
would
she not get
actually,
pregnant?
I'd actually prefer
Why she
she
gotta go
gives the
that
kid.
far?
I'd
You
actually
said why she gotta go
prefer.
that far
Why
not
she
to
gotta
get
get
pregnant?
pregnant?
It
Why
would
she
be
gotta
the
get
best
pregnant?
logical thing not to get pregnant, but
I
that's not realistic,
I
Our women love hogging the mic.
would.
right?
It is
It would
real.
be
We
the
go, if
best
we
It's
logical
push it
thing for
though,
these
if we
children
push it
okay.
to keep a
Okay.
job, but that's not realistic. That's not what's happening.
Okay. So I'd like to
No.
address a few things that you said. Could I do it without you interrupting me? Is that possible? Is it possible? I'm just asking because otherwise I won't even go. You know what I mean?
You gotta ask our women permission because 50% of our women are not don't have decorum.
Man, I'm be
50% of our women, hold on, okay, so we almost there. 50% of our women don't have decorum. They want to hog the mic and force you to agree. But watch this.
It's
Notice how she has to ask the black woman for permission to speak. And this is the only thing that brings a smile to the black woman's face is being asked permission. It's sad. But I want you to hear this and then we can all reply.
okay. So when it comes to the abortion, I think it's actually very realistic to not get pregnant. And in fact, men have made it so easy to not get pregnant. Women said, I want to have casual sex. So the men said, here you go. Here's condoms. And then the women said, no, I want to let him hit it raw. And they said, fine, do that. Here's plan B. They still couldn't do it. They're like, just take this pill the next day. Can you take it? And they're like, no, we can't do that. And so then they said, all right, here's an IUD, 99% effective. You shove it up there and then you're done. You don't have to worry about this. Can you do that? The women said no. They said, here's a pill. Can you take this pill daily? Can you do it? And the ladies are like, no, it's too hard. They said, okay, we've done all this research. Track your cycle. You can only get pregnant a few days of the month. And the women said, no, we can't do that either. They're like, here's an ovulation stick. You can even track when you're ovulating. Here, you can track it on your phone. Can you do that? And the women said, no, that's too hard. Here's a stick for your arm. You can shove this in your arm. Can you do that and not get pregnant? And the women still said no. They said, okay, here's an abortion pill where you can just take the pill in the first month. Is that enough? Is that enough for you guys? And they said, no, that's still too hard. So yeah, I actually think it's tough being a woman because my gender just lets me down a lot. You know what I mean? If we were so nurturing, we wouldn't raise such terrible kids. My sister works at a daycare and she says she sees a stark difference between the kids with two parents and one, or the kids with a dad in their life and that not. She says they're more rambunctious, they don't listen, they have no discipline. And a lot of times women, I don't really find women, someone said that women have kids to like put their trauma on them. And maybe that's somewhat true. I think women have kids more for the attention and the clout rather than like wanting to raise another human being, where the men are really good people. So and men don't abuse their children en masse. There are exceptions, yeah, but overwhelmingly the majority of the time, women are the ones abusing children. It's over 50% of abuse is done by women. If it's done by a man, it's usually a man the woman brought into the kid's life. So that's just a fact. And yeah, that's really all I got to say.
KRS Rain, what are your thoughts?
my brother, I don't know where to start, man. It's I find it ironic that when you have conversation with black women and urban women, I like to use more often. That explains it more clear and more respectful. That you chicks don't like to hear about yourself. You want to hear the glories and not the downfalls. That's not good. Men go through shit every day. The good, the bad, and the ugly. We chuck it up, we keep pushing. Unlike y'all, anything that has an inclination that something negative about women, especially black women, they have to insist themselves in the conversation. They have to overtalk you in the conversation. Hell, you have to waste time to say, can I get my point of 2 minutes? Can I get the permission? I would say, fuck that. Absolutely not. I'm going to talk over you. If I really have to be honest, I'm going to make you annoying. to say where your place is. If I don't be that arrogant. Overall, I think this is why a lot of men personally, if they're gonna have women around them, it's better off they be more agreeable than anything else because this is not gonna work. And even if they want to have a pushback, it's not in a respectful form where they're when they deal with pushback. So when people talk about saying single mothers or you pick the child, it's like this, Mr. Research. They said this about and I wrote this in the comment section about how women get mad about the coffee dates, right? And it said if they get pregnant and got a man and the man says that, oh, you choose bad, you choose lost, and they don't like that. I'm saying, listen, the man that you choose to carry that seed, you have to tie down with him regardless of what he does or what his outcomes. You can't just now say, I'm going to bow out and then move on to the next man. No, it don't work like that. Giving the man highest honor is him replicating himself with his seed. And that's what men have been trying to bring a point across to them. And they don't see, because a lot of them in their mind, they feel say, if things don't go away, I'm going to go somewhere else. And some of the men's going to fit the bill. As you can tell, Mr. Research, to the men now that has no kids, like you or me, we got to keep it honest if you want to keep it real. There's reasons for that. Why the hell I'm going to waste my time on you and know the outcome set? You're not going to be around. And you're going to make my life a bit more hard, regardless of what I'm trying to do to be more productive in society. You're going to be more detrimental than good to me. It's like the case of Anthony Edwards and the little baby woman he knocked up that's almost about to turn 40 next year, right? That's his decision he made. And instead of him knowing the climate and direction of this country, where things are going, you put yourself in that situation where you might not get a lot more money in endorsements because of your actions, because the woman you choose. Look who you choose to copulate. A black beep. You get me? I mean, Miss Research, you told me many times you pay for these women, and sometimes you might deal with black women here or you deal with non-black women, but you know which women to deal with in regards your time and energy and, let's say, your thing. You get me? Not all women qualify for what you do. You get me?
Absolutely.
Because look at the results. Look at the results. Why is black men in the 21st century fighting black women about being cooperative, play a role, and be the little small things? Keep life simple. They can't even do that, my brother.
Because
that.
the sad thing, black men keep centering black women in his life.
Mm-hmm.
Take that back. Black men keep centering all versions of pussy.
Yes.
In his life. Black men is willing to be disrespected by an Asian woman just to get access to her box. Jenny Mai, Young Jeezy. Black men are willing to be a goofy to get a white woman who already wants to give him head, but he's let me ask you a question. Do you like black men?
Oh, God damn it.
My God. Sir, you walked up and she was, didn't her eyes tell you, sir?
Matt, you see her hair back?
What type of black men you like? Oh, my God. Come on, bro. Really?
They shoot. What they call it? They kind of they talk themselves out of the situation.
No. It's even worse.
Yeah.
He gets the box anyway because she wanted to try his pipe, and he still don't learn. You know how I know? Because court case after court case after court case shows some black man spazzing out because a chick said, "Nah, I'm cool. Nah, no more head for you. I'm good." You know what? I'm gonna divorce you. I'm good. What are you spazzing out for?
Yeah.
You know what, sweetheart? We had a good run. I was listening to C. Trey, and Q was telling me, let you go. So we had a good run, sweetheart. I'm gonna have these lawyers holler at you on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finna get out of here and go to the concert I was going to anyway. Yeah, it's all good. New chick will be in here in 30 minutes. Yeah.
That's what she's in now. So I'm out.
Have no problem with it, sweetheart. We good.
And you see that stun their face. That
look. I'll go cry in the car about the times we had. I'll go cry at dinner. No, I'm keeping it real.
But I wouldn't tell I'm gonna cry in the car.
I'm just keeping it real.
All right, fine.
Because you never know when the tears come, right?
All right, okay.
I'm gonna have dinner with Chaos Rain, the homie, and we're gonna talk about YouTube, and I'm gonna bust out crying and talk about this shit. But guess what? That new chick will be there in 30 days. Max.
Mm-hmm.
Max.
Mm-hmm.
I am one of the most honest dudes on YouTube. I am not going to dress it up like, man, fuck that bitch. No. There will be tears.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what ain't going to stop? This damn macking.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't stopping.
Mm-hmm.
That is not quitting.
Mm-hmm.
New chick is on the way. All right, sweetheart. The lawyers have said what they needed to say. Please have your lawyer sign off, initial on every line, and let's get you this money, baby. It's not a problem. Go ahead. Let's get you this money so you can go on about your way, because I got new money coming in 2026. Don't want you to have no access to none of that shit. So,
exactly.
And the reason why dudes be getting upset is because they don't have new money coming in. Mm-hmm. Because everything was about the box for you.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck the box. No. So this is why this be happening, and this is why our women do what they do, because I see black dudes, they'll make a white woman feel like she got too much right to talk. They'll have an Asian woman feel like she got too much right to talk.
Shameful.
I'm looking at Melissa Ford on Joe Budden, and Joe Budden and them dudes have totally turned Melissa Ford into a pop-off champion.
Wow.
She's saying shit. If you go back and look at when she first came around, and mind you, her mother's German, so she don't have that urban pop-off mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? She's docile. She probably love to give dome. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But when you got goofy dudes around you, it brings out a spicy chick, because dudes want to hear a woman pop off. Mm-hmm. But for a player or a smooth dude, they ain't with all that. Now you take that somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Where did I get it wrong?
No, you get it wrong. And I really watch Joe Budden sings. I see clips when there has to be like a serious reaction between her and them dudes, right? And I look at it overall, it's more clickbait with these dudes, because they need that chick in front.
Hey, they making $20 million a year off of that.
I know they're making money, so they gotta keep the
$20 million.
And
$20 million every year.
And think about it. Look at what's the name? The floor player that had Miss Taylor on. I just finished watching, which I probably will cover eventually. He asked some questions here and there, and I'm thinking with a lot of these dudes that have women on podcasts and have the conversation, it's evident saying, yeah, it's a best formula known to men, Mr. Research, because most men, you can't get it out how you get it. You need these women just to survive.
No. Look, check this out. I can drop a simple $100,
mm-hmm.
and let's say you in New York. I can fly you let me play you, send you somewhere black.
Mm-hmm.
I can fly you to Atlanta and mm-hmm. put you in a orgy with pussy mm-hmm. everywhere
mm-hmm.
for $100.
Okay.
Why is pussy important? Why would I consider pussy important if I can put you in a warehouse full of all type of pussy, black, Asian, Latin, for $100?
Mm-hmm.
Only thing you got to do is not be a mouthy ass black dude.
Exactly. Yeah.
Why would I feel pussy's important?
Mm-hmm.
So this is reason, and this is why I tell dudes, I think more dudes need to just go to a brothel, pay for the pussy. Really, I do.
Yeah.
Because what I'm hearing is dudes trying to be validated by women.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing dudes who actually like to fuck. I'm hearing dudes who wanna hear that they're the man from a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what makes these women so spicy, because they feel like you want this box so bad, you're willing to simplify yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like, no, the box really ain't that important.
Mm-hmm.
It really, really, really ain't that important.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know people don't like hearing go buy some box, but my question is, what is the reason you're getting to all these arguments with women?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Other than box?
Yeah.
It can't be you getting money out of their purse. Only 10% of the men have the game to do that.
To get that, yeah.
So it can't be that.
Mm-hmm.
It's that you want free pussy, and you want her to like you. So
at the same time too,
right? So if I steal the pussy, that's a victory. Because I can go to take Chaos Reign and say, man, yeah, I fucked this bitch. Yeah. But you did so much lying and covert shit just to get that. Yeah. I would have better gave the chick $40 and got my pipe sucked, rather than spend all that time and energy. I could be making, I could be making $300 a day divided by 8. We're talking 150 in 4 hours. We're talking 75 in 2 hours. So the 2 hours I spent talking to this chick on the phone, I could have made $75. I'm losing money trying to get this free pussy.
Yeah.
But everybody don't see it that way.
And here's one thing. Another conversation, I'm just going to do a short story. It's this. When I had a conversation about the strip joints, right? And I said, wait, hold on. Keep talking.
So we're starting to wrap this up. We're in a totally different section. We start off by saying how you should visit FBA America. I wanted people to understand that even all the complexity you hear from my guests, we're all very different. We grow up in different sections. We do different things. So I want you guys to understand how to visit FBA America, because we are dramatically different. In California, you can fit 360 New Yorks in California. Think about that. That's 360 Brownville, 360 Harlems. Think about that. Even if you was to include Philly, it would be 360 Phillies, 360 Baltimores. We are totally different from the East Coast. So I'm not saying East Coast is bad. I'm saying it's different, because in LA, we have what I call pop-off culture. People who are adversarial. They love to insult. They love to fight. Chicago, same thing. Love to insult, love to fight. New York, Philly, Baltimore, same thing. Love to fight, love to insult. But the rest of the blacks are not like that. We not. The cowboy blacks, California is a cowboy black mentality. Texas is a cowboy black mentality. Louisiana is a French black mentality. We are the Great Lakes, the black people around the Great Lakes, totally different. Oregon blacks, totally fucking different. Alaskan blacks, totally different. The Montana and the Washington blacks, totally different. And the Arizona and New Mexico blacks are their own people, but they're cowboy culture too. So when people visit, you just got to understand, just because you move to one area of Cali, there's 360 other areas. Just because you move to New York and you interact with New York people, the Virginia people are totally different. The North Carolina people are extremely it's on the East Coast, but they're extremely different. And the Washington, D.C. people, they are nothing like anybody in that region.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Nothing. Because the Washington, D.C. people are super, 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 super political.
Yeah, because where they're at, that's where the White House
Exactly.
is. You have to be political. You have to be very astute. That you can't be living in that state without being very well.
Exactly.
So you gotta know your stuff. And
you will be
I
isolated like a motherfucker if you just
research.
a dumb person trying to make money.
I have to say it's this research because I'm hoping to see you on actual events like Jubilee and stuff. If you do, I will cover it because I think with the thing with Amanda Seals with those 20 black conservatives, it's okay, but I think there should be a man that really bring in the real intellectual logic and challenge these people that said they're this.
Yeah, and actually on a greater scale, I want to get I'm going to try to do a GoFundMe for 200,000. I want to try to create a research center and an epicenter for these conversations because I'm tired of people hiding out in a bubble.
Okay.
I want to create something where we invite people to go toe to toe.
Okay. And you want to have built or just to have the facility to bring people in? How you want to go about it generally?
I'm packaging the video for the fundraiser, but we'll get the equipment, and the main part is the infrastructure for the customer service team. Because the customer service team is going to be important because Black people want to see results after about 6 months or a year.
I agree. And Dr. Omar Johnson has not delivered.
So you see how calculated I'm approaching this?
Yeah.
So it's not so much about the building. It's about creating the infrastructure so that I can immediately get the sample size and get the verified people versus the people who don't want to be verified. So mathematically, that's how we have to do it. I used to work at CDC. That's how we have to do it. We have to get a verified, which means these are people willing to send in their ID, send in their information to make sure that we can say, hey, you are foundational American. And then and this isn't to hurt nobody. This is just for the sake of mathematics. And then we need the sample size for people who are willing to do the same thing and say they are of Caribbean. We need to do people who are of the same thing and say they are of African descent, first generation or what have you. And then we got a fourth one that we will have for people who don't really want to identify. Cool, right? So I've covered all the measures. So if you want to participate, there's a slot for you everywhere, correct? What happens is this will be greater than Pew Research. A lot of people don't realize Pew Research only sample sizes 10,000 people. Only.
I mean, you think now in the 21st century with the advance of technology and AI and all stuff that it should stretch from 10,000. It should.
No. The reason it hasn't is because they've never had competition.
Oh, I never thought that. Okay.
Yeah, they never had competition. Okay. So they're out of the University of Virginia. Mm-hmm. They just push what they push, kind of like PragerU. Yeah. PragerU just pushes what they push. You need somebody to create counter competition. And having the staff, because 3/4 of the 200,000 is going to go to staff. That's just what it is. Because you need you need things being put out every week. Number one, you need the sample size to be reflective. So if I say to you, okay, the FBAs are at 25% on this topic, the Caribbeans are at 10% on this topic, the Africans are at 50% on this topic, and the unidentified are 50%, then you could put those numbers together mathematically and come up with a summation of what the Black collective looks at it versus the East Coast, West Coast, North or South. And you have to do that because what happens in a discussion, you have to look at who has the higher percentage of what. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And the reason this staff is important, this staff needs to be able to break all those numbers down so that if they need to answer questions, because we'll have some, I'll try to get retired people from the CDC. If they need,
that's a good start. Yeah.
If they need to break stuff down, they can have that short video breaking that down. So if you want to compete and you want to make a video disclaiming this, that, and the third, here's what C-Lay gonna do. Hey, Sarah Jackson, we saw that you created a video. We invite you to debate our scholars on what you claim. You claim it's a bunch of bullshit, so we can set that up for Saturday or Sunday. See, it's time to start calling out echo chamber people the way they used to do when Muhammad Ali was alive. People used to compete on PBS. You ever notice that? A lot of the people had to, whatever your thought was, you had to bring that to the forum. And what happens now with the internet, we have so many echo chamber people unwilling to truly debate. You got the final word. We've been here for 2 hours. What are your thoughts, Chaos?
My thoughts. This is a good start. I like the idea of my brother. I'm hoping when you raise it up that I'll try to chime in a chance I get. Because now I think about it, yeah, there needs to be some countermeasures of peer research, and because only 2 facilities exist in regards to data, there should be another one to really have or force them to update how they go about researching. In my opinion.
Let me point this to you. When you look at Pew Research, I want you to do this once we hang up. Go look at Pew Research and type in Pew Research Black men. And look in the bottom left corner. You'll see that they're quoting information from either 1997, 2005, or 2010, but they're presenting it as if it's current 2025 information. Then within their own metrics, they'll have Latino men who have a higher percentage, but they'll focus on Black men who have a higher gap disparity. Make that make sense. Why would you not focus on the higher percentage? You're focused on the gap disparity because it sensationalizes better. Okay, cool. When are you going to make a secondary comment on the Latin man having the highest? You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of inconsistencies.
Yeah, and now you challenge them and say, oh, well, we never want to do that. Well, you have to, because you're only isolating one group of men. And it should be for every subsection of men.
Exactly. All right, brother. We will talk to you later, man. Thank you for everybody tuning in. And the people that did donate, I'm going to shout you out on the next video that I do, because I did see the donations that came in. Much love to y'all. You can donate to the King of Classy if you feel like this has helped you in any type of way. $ King of Classy on your Cash App. Much appreciated, man. I try to give to you, and I thank you for all who give back, even if it was $2, $5, $100. I thank you so much. Much love. We'll be talking to y'all soon.